Hello, this video is to explain what we mean by the dissertation template, which will be used to write your assignments for Education 780. So I'm going to take time to review each part of this dissertation template, and at the very end of this video, we will talk about references, and I'll give you specific information about references because your bibliography assignment that includes 35 references is at the end of this template. So I want to give you an idea of what we mean when we say a bibliography in terms of all of those references and what that should look like. So I'm going to turn off the camera here so that you can read the dissertation template. And so here we go. This is the first page of the template. And by the way, this template can be found on the ALNet site. So you'll want to download it right away because you'll be using it even as you compile your references, which we'll talk about later. But this is the title page where you have your dissertation title and your full name. So you would just simply type in here, if you wanted to say your dissertation title was The Influence of School Autonomy on Student Achievement, you would type your name there, and then you can just type over here with your name. And so when you fill this out, you may not know the title of your dissertation yet. You might want to decide on that at the very end of your assignment because you haven't had a chance to do any research yet. So this is for the future in terms of coming up with a title. You'll want to put your name on your paper right away because you'll be submitting this template for each assignment. You don't have to worry about the month or year of the defense. You don't have to worry about all of these things because you don't know that information yet. Here's another place later for you to put your title and your name. Don't worry about your expected graduation date. You can just leave it as May of 2019 because you don't know that yet. You will not be writing an abstract for this course, so you can not be concerned about an abstract. You don't have to worry about doing the dedication piece or the acknowledgments piece. That's not part of your assignments. Even a table of contents will not be a part of any of your assignments, so you don't need to worry about that. So let's keep scrolling down here through the table of contents. You don't need to worry about your list of tables either, or your list of figures. That's for later on in the process. So here we get to Chapter 1. And Chapter 1, this part of the template just tells you all of the things that you want to include in your Chapter 1. And we're not going to go over all of these things tonight, but just know that you can use these dark black words as headings as a part of your study, so everyone will have a background of study. So you leave that heading background of study, and then you just start writing here when you want to write your background of your study. But what's nice about this template is that for each heading, it explains what that heading is. So it explains what you need to include in your background of study. Same thing with the statement of the problem, and these are all components of a Chapter 1 that I'm just going to run through real quick because we're not concerned about putting our Chapter 1 together yet. So here we are all the way through Chapter 1. There's a blank page here. And when we get ready to write Chapter 2, I'll explain this in more detail, but again, we've got some headings here that explains what goes in the component. With your Chapter 2, you won't be writing a real Chapter 2, but you will be developing an outline, and we'll talk more about that when we get ready to write the outline for your Chapter 2. But if you have time and you want to browse through this, feel free to do that. Here's an example of an outline. So I'm going to go through all of Chapter 2. Here is an annotated bibliography, and here's an example of an annotated bibliography. And again, we'll discuss this in more detail when we get closer to the Chapter 2 assignment. And here is the template for Chapter 3. This, if you are interested in doing a quantitative study, this is the template for quantitative. If you're interested in doing, this should say qualitative, so I'm going to change that to qualitative right now. This is what's included for the headings for a qualitative study. And Chapter 4, we're not going to be developing in this course. So this is a template for Chapter 4 that is for your later use when you get ready to write that for your dissertation. And the first template was for quantitative, and this next one is for qualitative studies. And here's a template for Chapter 5. And at last, we're here for references. So, in your first assignment, this is what your references is going to look like. This is your bibliography, and this is what is due at the beginning of week 3. So for your references, you will need to look for those sources that relate to your specific topic. And here's an example of references. There are 35 references that this student included in her paper. So she met the exemplary side, and she started and she put her references in alphabetical order, as you can see, and she also followed APA style. You need to do your references inside this template. And so this is an example for you. You can use the blank template on the ALNet site for you to include your references. You wouldn't want to include this particular template because this is an example that I'm showing you that a student completed. So she did a nice job. She started the first line of each reference on left justified in the left margin. Then she double spaced any lines after the first line, and she indented them 5 spaces, so you see here. And she also did her references in APA style. So for example, this is a resource that was a report that she retrieved from the website, and it was the name of a report, so it is in italics. So it is correct APA style. Here is a dissertation that she found, and with a dissertation, this is the correct APA format. Notice that the title of a dissertation, the first word is capitalized, and all of the other words in the title are lowercase except for proper names. And then she used the proper citation for that particular dissertation. Also notice that her references are pretty much within the last 5 years. So she did a good job with that. So you can scroll down here and you can see some more references. And all of these she got from the William Woods University website. So here's an example of a peer-reviewed article that she got from the ERIC database. If we go up here, or we can go further down here, here's another article she got from the database. Here's a dissertation that she retrieved from the ProQuest database. So you'll want to go to the ProQuest database as well as the ERIC site to get your journal articles. And so this is a complete listing of her 35 references. Parts of this are not perfect in APA style. I deleted my feedback comments on here because I didn't want that interfering with this example, but you'll find that there are some mistakes in this particular references page, so it's not absolutely perfect. But overall, she did, here you see a mistake that she made right there, and right here is a mistake. But overall, her references are in pretty good shape. And again, they're all in alphabetical order and following proper APA style. And she has a list of 35 references that relate to her topic. You notice that her references relate to early childhood education. So her topic for this paper was, I believe the title of it was The Impact of Early Childhood Education in Elementary School. And so you'll notice that all of her references are about that particular topic, the effects of preschool on kindergarten or elementary school. So all of these articles are related to that topic. When you look for your references, you want to make sure that you read at least the abstracts or the executive summaries, and you skim. You just definitely read the abstracts and the executive summary. That's about all that you'll have time to read if those are available for you to read. You're not going to have time to read in detail all of these articles between now and the third week. Right now, what you're just doing is you're gathering articles and you're assembling those on your references page. So you will only have time to skim the most important parts, and I recommend starting with the abstracts or the executive summaries of articles to see if you think that is a reference that you would benefit from with your particular research paper. So again, you don't have time to read it all, and it's going to take you time to look up 35 references. So we really want you to start that after week 1. I'm going to have you email me your topic, and at the end of class 1, I will want you to start gathering your references so that you can have a listing of 35 references by the beginning of week 3. So I'm going to end this particular video right now, and I'm going to talk to you about how to retrieve references out of the William Woods database. And so I'll see you in a few minutes.